Brad Stevens.
And it's Diversity News, coming to you live at 7, too late in the morning. Brad?
Breaking news today, Barack Obama is flexing his federal muscles in order to promote his transgender bathroom policy.
Whoa, Brad. Hopefully she's not backing more than I am.
A North Carolina law kept transgenders from going into whatever bathrooms they please in public school. This power falls within the state's power in the federal system of government. Federalism is a constitutional arrangement in which power of the government is divided and shared between the central government with nationwide responsibilities and regional governments. These regional governments wield considerable power along with Congress, creating a dynamic federalism. The divisions between national and state government have never been clear. In Federalist 45, James Madison said, "State power would cover everything that concerns the lives, liberties, and properties of the people and the internal order, improvement, and prosperity of the states. These powers are commonly referred to as police powers." Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution defines what powers the states do not have, like making treaties or granting titles of nobility. The 10th Amendment grants the states powers that are not reserved to the federal or denied to the states. However, the national government uses mandates, grants, and aid, the power of commerce to take control over the states, as you can see. Federalism is complex and dynamic. Back to the transgender bathroom issue, we can see federalism is at work. Obama used the Department of Justice to overturn the North Carolina law. If we had a Confederate government where the states held supreme power, the national government would have no authority over the states, and the North Carolina law would reign supreme. If we had a unitary government where the regional governments have no power, the North Carolina bathroom law would probably not even exist. Pretty interesting stuff, right?
Actually, not at all.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And now, we'll sling it to Wes.
Thanks, guys. Last night we saw the Cavs destroy the Warriors by 30 points. Tomorrow we'll see the federal system of the Constitution take on the Articles of Federation in an all-out grudge match. Let's look at the keys to the game. The advantage for the federal system? First, they have a better understanding of the region's needs. Congressmen represent the ideals of the constituents, so whatever the constituents need, the congressman can get it done for them. Second is the separation of power. No branch of government will ever have too much power over the other. The checks and balances are in place to keep that from ever happening. Third is that people feel more involved in government. They vote in their local and state governments so that they can get the people they want to represent them. The Articles of Confederation are going to have a chance at winning this game if they take advantage over the disadvantages of the federalist system of government. The weaknesses of the federal system are, first, there's a conflict of authority. The federal and state governments clash when goes between state and federal governments. We can see this in the Hurricane Katrina situation. The FEMA didn't help the local state governments get New Orleans and Louisiana back on their feet. The second disadvantage is regionalism over patriotism. The people have more pride in their states than they do in their actual country. You can definitely see it in Maryland when everyone's wearing their Maryland Pride t-shirts instead of USA Pride. This can cause disagreement and discord between the states, and this can definitely be seen in the Civil War. The states clash, and then we have problems. The third disadvantage is a lack of accountability. When an issue arises, the federal system allows one part of government to blame the other. This causes lots of disagreement and blaming of others not actually getting anything done. We will see who takes the W tomorrow night. If the federal system moves on, they will face the Supreme Court's judicial review. Where did they get this massive power? Well, in 1803, Chief Justice John Marshall wrote a unanimous decision in the landmark case, Marbury v. Madison, giving the judges the power to determine whether a case is unconstitutional or not. Any action by the president, the bureaucracy, or Congress can be determined unconstitutional. This case has set so many precedents for the future and can be seen throughout our country. Now, Black, to you, bench rider.
The Supreme Court should have the power of judicial review. This upholds the checks and balance system, not to rain on Congress' parade. The Supreme Court has the power to interpret the Constitution when making decisions. The main methods that the Supreme Court uses is fundamental principles, strict interpretation, and modernism interpretation. Strict interpretation is when the Supreme Court looks directly at the meaning of the words and uses plain meaning of the Constitution. Fundamental principles refers to where the Supreme Court uses the underlying principles of the Constitution to interpret words, phrases, and clauses that seem unclear. Using modernism, the Supreme Court would have to interpret the Constitution that adapts to change in the United States society and apply that to modern views. Recently, Texas and other conservative states sued against the Obama administration policy on its transgenders. Hold on, incoming news. It's Bill Cosby with the shot, boy!
Free Bill!
Free Bill!
Now back to that freckle face motherfucker.
Thank you, Winston. Hopefully, you white people brought your sunscreen.
You know I did.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, now we're gonna bring it out to Nemo and Eugene for a special interview.
Thanks, Brad. So, today with me is Eugene Park. So, Eugene, thanks for joining us this early morning. Our topic for the show today has been how is the Constitution used to establish our government? Eugene, why did the framers of the Constitution fear political parties?
Well, the framers viewed political parties as factions dangerous to the public interest, and they considered them corruptive as they put selfish minorities ahead of the common good. But with this way of thinking, how did political parties form?
Well, political parties first developed because Federalists versus Anti-Federalists debated on the national bank discussion. Different groups and people split the country right in the middle on different laws and policies they wanted to pass, such as popular sovereignty, but today we'll see it in things like abortion versus pro-life. In fact, our first divided election was in 1800, and today you see it's only growing larger and larger.
But do you think political parties play a useful role today?
I think that political parties are the glue for the checks and balances of democracy. They ensure that the bills passed are through great debate and they're the best bills possible. In fact, Friday, May 27, 2016, just a little while ago, 4 Democratic candidates opposed the Child Victims Act, which would eliminate statute of limitations for cases of child sexual abuse. This case was debated on for 10 years before the best and most refined bill was passed. The reason we need political parties is to make sure that all bills passed are the very best. Another way political parties help us today are they mobilize participation in elections. They make sure that people come out and vote and they inform the electorate. They connect the executive and legislative branches of government to the people and allow them to have a voice where they can directly speak to their government. People individually support for particular parties, and that's how they show the way they like or favor a certain policy through their support for a political party. Another last way political parties help is they allow people as citizens, not only in the higher levels of legislation, to debate about policy. In the Millennial Makeover by Winograd and Hayes, political parties lead to great stability for 40 years with short periods of change. That was definitely seen in the Reagan era, coming into the Bill Clinton era, and the next era we see right now. That's all today. Thanks, Eugene.
Thank you for having me.
Drive safely. So now, we'll swing it back to Nemo and Brett at our main office.
And we're back.
So, Brad, pretty great day today, right?
Yeah, thanks for connecting us with on Diversity News. Stop by again tomorrow when we talk about something else.
Sure.